The
Economy of
Economy of Nothing
Nothing.
Economy of
podcast.
Nothing podcast.
Beautiful. Hey everyone, welcome to the Economy of Nothing podcast, where you get to watch a show being made in real time. We're currently on our 26th season. Yeah, we're on our 26th season, and if you're here, glad to have you. You're going to learn a lot about characters. Don't worry, we're not talking about Cheyenne today. Woo. And anyways, I'm one of your gracious hosts,
He was in
aka
the
Mike
episode.
Allen, the original Mr. Green, aka Business Mike, followed by my co-stars here. We have Mike Bedont as Captain Tracy, and then we also have Ryan, who I still don't remember your last
Ryan,
name, who is
Ryan,
Cheyenne.
Ryan, no last name. What if her last name was no last name? So she just got rid of it. Okay, I'll just come
Yeah,
up with a
blank.
different idea for it every week. That'll be my
Is it
homework.
hyphenated?
I was thinking
I
it's just
mean, no
pushed all
dash last name.
together, like no last name.
Or what if it's just like
Uh,
Cheyenne with a hyphen, like her first name's Shy and her last name's like Ian?
Oh,
what about the thing I did where it's Shy Ryan?
Shy Ryan, no last
Well, there's an
name.
R in it.
Yeah, what the
It
heck?
doesn't have the same ring to it. Anyways.
Take it out when it was SHY. Anyway, well, Mike, what are we doing this week? I was thinking that
Well, I
I had
think
an idea that you had.
I had a great idea, but first, I'm sticking to the rules that Mike Bedont, the creator of the show, wanted me to stick to. And he would
Co-creator.
like the
I
next thing
need
of
to
the
look that up.
podcast to always be, Mike, is there any old business we need to wrap up from last week's episode?
Any old business? Well, I mean, the only real old business I think for the most part is just trying to drive people, I guess, to the like podcast page itself that we're making. You know what I mean? You guys have seen this too. If you're on the your app, it's linked at the bottom of all the apps, and it has like a link to the show. It has like the video version of the radio, time codes, and then the thing that like we keep coming, I guess I keep coming back to with the website is down here we have like the casts that link to their little codex pages, as well as like the references to different stuff we talked about in the show. So if at some point we're like, hey, follow along, you don't have to like actually follow along, but if you're curious about like what some of these visuals we're talking about like might turn into, and you're like, well, do you want me to follow your Patreon or your? It's like, well, if you can go to the podcast page of the episode you're listening to, hopefully they'll like be like a visualization or a little descriptor of something we were talking about, which is kind of just what I wanted to point out and hopefully highlight like some of the stuff we're coming up with each week.
Yes, it's a really great website, economyofnothing.com. Mike Bedont is
Well,
adding much value to it day in and day out. He is clearly the hardest working member of the crew. However, he can't do it alone. He needs his trusty sidekicks here. And again, the other trusty sidekick would be Ryan. Can't remember last name. AKA Cheyenne.
economyofnothing.com, .org, .gov, .uk. It's all coming soon near
it's
you.
it's economyofnothing.com/human/Ryan-McDonald, I believe. If you'd like
McDonald,
to look,
like Ronald McDonald?
so
And immediately I'm thrust back into my old days of being bullied as a kindergartner. It begins again.
Uh,
Yeah,
man, you should have
exactly.
just brought
Well, no.
Rise to
But it's
school,
it's
man.
it's
You're trying
not
to be cool, you
ALD,
know?
it's ELL. Just for the record.
that's what I said.
Not that my
I said
bullies ever
Donald.
cared about that.
I don't think, and that's why you're so into grammar. You were like, guys, it's not the same spelling.
Oh
They're like,
my
we don't
Not
find
an L, it's
god.
a D.
It all comes back to childhood trauma. It really makes you think.
They say
dude.
it does.
It
Now,
always comes
now,
back to childhood
now
trauma.
on to my kids show that has nothing to do with my childhood trauma.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, I think that's old business. I don't have any old business as business
I
Mike
just
or
want to,
Mr. Green.
yeah, no, just the old business. And trucking along, check out the stuff. I like the old business really is like anything that. Are we sure my audio is not super low for you guys?
I hear it.
Okay,
It
all right,
sounds
I'm with
kind
it.
of
I'm
like
with it. I'll stop.
you
I turned
sound
my volume up.
close to me. The two of you sound close
Welcome
together.
to the
Okay.
Economy of Nothing podcast, where technical difficulties are aplenty in the future.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
I guess it doesn't. It does. I'll stop looking at. I'm trying to cover that up. So
I
I'm
know,
so I'm
dude.
not looking at it anymore. I just
Your
always
anxiety is showing. Like, just let it go. Take a
all
gas station edible.
My
Chill.
God.
Let's talk about the show, okay? Mike Pedont, the original creator of
Mm-hmm.
all of this.
Of
co-creator.
this multimedia
Um,
empire that.
Captain Tracy, he's the character of the show. we're gonna we're gonna
Okay.
lean in and we're gonna talk about one of our favorite episodes called. It takes place on the location called the Royal Throne Room, and the city's name is called Dracronaria,
Swag.
I think.
That's right. Well, the whole episode does, as you'll remember, Mike, from the past. The
Yeah, I mean,
whole
this is
episode
season
doesn't take place in the throne.
26. Yeah.
The main part of our story starts in the throne room when the captain arrives, because he received an alert. Do we have
All right,
an
so what?
example of that alert he received?
Yeah. What? All right. So how do they receive an alert? Do they have something in their car, like the pickup truck
They
spaceship? Is
I
there a little beam?
So this would be, they went to the dispatch in the morning and like picked a job, and the job they picked was this dispatch, which, as we get to, is like one of the things the captain's upset about is that they're doing this for a queen. It's like, I didn't get into the dispatch game to do dispatch calls for a monarchy, by the way. Like,
Okay.
I thought
No.
we were gonna be so
Uh,
so they're under slight mispretense, which we'll get to when Cheyenne shows up, I think.
Okay, and Mr. Green, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm here for the ride, or do I just
Mr.
like? There's a
Green's
good chance.
I mean, you tell me. I assume that Mr. Green is actually happy that it turns out that it's like they're working for a queen, right? He's a
Yeah,
little dragging his feet on it, and so he's like, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna work out if we're showing up to palaces." Like,
yeah, yeah. Like, there's
Mm.
something in it for me, right? Like, there's in it
yeah,
for Mr. Green. It's either the
yeah,
queen or the relics, the gold inside. It's a 2-for-1 special. Okay, yeah, I hear
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay,
Like,
so
it's not like he's happier than when they ended up on a dusty cowboy planet the last time,
yeah,
right?
like he
Like,
got dirty last time. This seems like it's gonna be way cleaner,
he did
path,
get that whip
easier.
though. That might come into play later.
I did
He
pick
has
up the
one
whip.
item in his pouch. It's a whip.
Yes, and Mr. Green is deadly with it, but he's also not deadly with it. You know what I mean? Like he can.
Because he just got it and he's deadly to himself with it. He's
Yeah,
never used
I
this thing
think
before.
I think 50% of the time he's gonna like hit himself in the ankle or something, but the other 50% they're really gonna count. So
I thought he would just like point it over and be like, "Oh, it was over there," and just like take someone's eye out completely accident. He's like, "Holy
Well,
shit!" Is it a laser whip or
this is
something, or is it just an old fashioned whip?
it's old school whip, bro. I
Okay,
don't want no
okay,
laser whip. That's
okay. Can we discuss the whip for a minute?
okay.
seems
Because
a
like
little
I
off
was thinking
topic.
it was a laser whip. I was thinking it was a laser whip, Ryan. I'm agreeing with you. I think it should be a
Uh,
laser whip.
okay. Here's all the
But
reasons
it
why.
doesn't have to be.
No, but here you have to think about it, right?
Hmm.
How can I practice with the laser whip? Like the margin
Yeah,
like of error there is very high. Like I don't only get like a couple
Yeah,
shots, and I
I
maybe
know.
I didn't think it had to be. I didn't think it had to like cut through steel beams laser.
well, I immediately think of like a lightsaber whip, not I mean, what
I
else
was
kind of
thinking
whip is that?
lightsaber whip.
Mike,
I
Yeah.
gotta be honest.
a
You couldn't
lightsaber
use it
whip
to
that he was
dunk
gonna
on
hit his
anything.
ankles with. He was gonna cut his leg off.
Like, honest. Well, Mike Allen had told me something, I guess,
Crazy.
yesterday. This idea of like Mr. Green, one of his things being like Mr. Green trying to do like a PowerPoint presentation or something. And I was like, oh, well, what would be funny to me anyway is like he's doing a PowerPoint presentation and like bad guys break in or something.
Mhm.
And then the laser pointer becomes like his laser whip and he like blocks, he like grabs their gun or something, you know?
I do like that.
Well,
I
that
do
seems.
like
But
that.
it's not a laser whip. So it's something else. Like,
I think it could be
No, no. If
flexible.
anything, I want a real whip, but the laser pointer turns into like a shield, like a
Mm.
green shield. Like I can make go like Captain America style shield, but not actually.
That's kind of
Just deflect.
badass.
how do you hold a laser pointer as a shield for the
You just
audio
hold
listeners?
it like you would for a cat, like trying to get it to chase the laser
Yeah, but
pointer.
then wouldn't you just grip it and then it would become? Well, this is a spoon, but it would
Yeah, but
become
I think the whole
the
point
handle
of
for
it
the
is
shield.
that it's a laser pointer at its core, like he
Mm-hmm.
uses it for work.
Yeah.
It just so happens to also be a shield and only like the most extreme dire need because he doesn't want to damage it because he likes it for work. It's
Mm-hmm.
really high on laser pointer.
Yeah.
Is he bringing the laser pointer with him to Dracronaria?
Oh yeah, it's in one of his satchels. I mean, he has little pockets.
Okay, so he has the laser pointer and the whip
Yeah, I mean,
in
he
his
doesn't wear a vest, so he has like a utility belt that has a
Yeah,
couple
like we can,
things
I
on it.
think we can assume that they have like general accoutrement. Like when we get to a point, it's like, can they have like, Mr. Green has a gun, but we don't need to like talk about it unless he has like a special gun, right? I don't think like
Yeah, well,
Mr.
I don't
Green
really want
is
a
he.
gun because it kind of limits you. I
You
think
don't
if
want a gun?
anything, Mr. Green
Okay.
would have a sniper rifle. That
Mr. Green has to have a sniper rifle.
yeah,
Wait,
Like
I don't want a
he
gun.
ha-
I just want a sniper rifle. No
it could be a
guns.
laser
Yeah,
rifle.
this is a
It could
no
be
guns show, except for the sniper rifle. That's
except for
fun.
this, like,
No,
no,
it's fun. I was just kidding.
we're
It's
like
just a joke.
we're, we're like MythBusters, fun with guns,
Mm-hmm,
though. You
mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
yeah. It's really more for me to like shoot giant tanks of gasoline, on fire.
It's for
Mm.
threatening bad guys. We never, yeah, we just shoot tanks of
Is that
gas
another
or like,
use of the laser pointer?
distraction.
That you could like add it to the as like a scope to see where
On
it
the
is?
cat planet, you could just like
Yeah,
use it
and then
like
it
that.
also turns into a shield, so it like
Mhm.
protects you as you snipe.
That's badass. I think that
I
makes
know.
it's work. It's all making sense to me.
We will have to talk about the mechanics of like how it's held for like visual purposes. But okay, so laser pointer whip. Um, uh, is Mr. Green ready to go? For the alert, or do you need to know it? Do you have any other questions about Mr. Green before we
Oh
move on
yeah,
that you
okay. It's just
like
like you tried to
actualize?
transition there and it did not work. I was like, "What? Hold
I
on, let me
know.
go to my thing. Let me go to my thing."
I
Pull up the
wasn't staring
alert.
at my volume the whole time.
Here we go.
Pull
Here we go.
up
Here
the
we go.
alert.
All right. So so I do like the fact that Mr. Green there's a line in the theme song is like sharp as he can be, always counting credits in the void economy. And I think we talked about like him hitting someone with a big sack of money, but I was like, scratch that. That wouldn't be it. It would be like a bag full of poker chips. And I see that scene happening in the what's the casino episode with like the thumbnail of the
Yeah,
guy.
Robin Hood Men in Suits
Yeah, like I
episode. I'll pull it up.
yes, pull it
Uh,
up and show the audience.
let's see. It is episode 16, Robin Hood Men in Suits.
Okay, so the original
Again,
thumbnail of that had like a bad guy with dark black hair and almost like it wasn't like a Zor it was like a Zorro outfit without the hat or um
yeah,
like
he doesn't look as
hamburger
cool
thing.
as he did before. He kind of had like he kind of lost a little bit of the flair in my last pass of him, but let's see, bigger
But
there.
yeah, I just see him being there, and one of the ways we have to escape a situation is like green because he's always about counting them credits in the void economy. He has a real like learning moment where he has to like sacrifice the treasure or the poker chips or something because the in that episode it's so bad, the corruption's so bad that we have to
Mm-hmm.
that I just like I use it to like I don't know, save the day or save one of y'all
Mm-hmm.
or and
Mm-hmm.
save a situation.
Yeah.
And maybe you guys could expand on what that situation might be. Like, why would we be in this, casino, Robin Hood men in suits? Like, why are we there? What is this entity there that they're doing against us? Like, what do you guys got?
It's interesting that that you said it like that because I'm like, oh, that's a really good ending because I think I'd have to zoom out my stuff. People don't have to look at this. But like Mr. Green gets injured halfway through the series, right? Or the first season. Well, if we were in England, I'd say in the first series, because they call season series for some goofy reason.
Idiots.
Um, but but yeah, so like this is kind of like this idea was like, well, originally I kind of wanted the captain to be Zorro, like Space Zorro.
Hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so then of course it's like, well, Space Robin Hood, and then I went this very weird route. That's Robin Hood, Robin and his Seven Thieves, Ocean's 11, this. And so basically, now that like Mr. Green's kind of not the captain's kind of a little more like out there, and so he's like he's basically doing crime. He's doing good crime. You know what I mean? Like he's over on the other side of it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like so I like the idea that like symbolically this moment that is in like the trailer of like him seeming greedy is actually a moment in the show of him like
Yeah,
turning, because like you'd think that it's him, well he's just getting away with money and just kind of using one as a thing, but like we
yeah,
could have it be a more he's sacrificing the money moment.
yeah. Okay, dude, 100% on board with that. I'm glad you got what I was
Well, is it also
putting
like
down.
money that he earned himself or like played for and won? You know what I mean? He was like at
See,
the
that's a
poker
great
table.
question. It's like, how did he win it? So, like, in
Mm-hmm.
my thing, I said blackjack, but Mr. Green is definitely going to go to the three card poker because it's, in my opinion, it's the best odds and it takes the least amount of work. And
Mm-hmm. Okay.
he's just sitting there because I think we're at this planet and the captain is so gun ho about doing it this diplomatic way, and Green is like, have fun with that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go play, right?
Yeah.
And I think this episode is an episode where Captain and Cheyenne were really like working together, but have opposing ideologies on how to deal with taking down like the corruption in this casino. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and the casino is it's like a planet casino, right? The whole thing runs on just like casinos. Like you want to buy breakfast, it's still a casino. Like you don't get to pick your breakfast, you just get to put money in and
Just
a random thing comes up,
oh,
right?
that is
Everything's about
crazy.
chance.
Okay, okay.
Everything's about chance.
Yeah.
And you only get more credit and validity and like power
Mm-hmm.
based on chance. So like the second somebody's up, they lose it all, and they're like, "Oh, you get oatmeal for breakfast," and then this other guy hits it big, and it gets like he gets like just the pancakes and sausages and like you know steak and just like anything. But and the rule is you can't share. Like
Mm.
nobody can share. If you share, you get shot and killed. And
Oh
that we just
my
show up here for a
God.
mission, and it is insane to us. And we're like, we have to just shut this place down. But Green's like, you're never gonna shut this down because it's just too embedded. And
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Green is going to be like, I see a chance to go make some easy cash. So you guys have fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go have fun. Come get me when you're done, when doing it your diplomatic way. But I think, I don't know how that angle goes, but I know that that eventually comes to the fact that Mr. Green has won a shitload of money at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in order to save the day, he has to like either beat people up or knock some people out with it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like if it's a bag full of money, it could like break pretty
Bag full of
easily.
poker chips.
A
Let's be
bag, yeah,
clear.
like a bag full of chips. If it's like a bag full of chips, it feels like if it ripped or tore or something, like you're just
No, he
scattering
brought
your
extra.
wealth throughout the
He brought
casino.
extra satchels, Ryan.
Oh, okay, okay. So he has a
He's
few.
very influenced by Indiana Jones.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So how about this? You're like basically you're playing flag football as Mr. Green, where you're like fighting people, but you have the bag of chips like around you,
Yeah,
like
like I have them like
bag.
sealed, and
Yeah,
I'm like using them like nunchucks,
yeah,
like
like a
Michelangelo. Like,
bandolier. And you just like
yeah,
I had
okay.
I had an image of Mr. Green like filling up a sock full of poker chips instead of like a sock full of nickels. It's
dude,
like
I
nunchuck
do like
socks
the
full of.
sock because he would totally take his sock off to hold the chips, like assuming they're high value, right? And he's like, I'm
Um.
not getting rid of these chips, and he's like, we're about to go full kung fu down a hallway, Daredevil style fight scene,
Hmm.
just wah, wah, you know,
Yeah.
just Batman style.
Yeah. I mean, I
And I
think
show up in the room, and you guys are just having the meeting, and I was like, oh, I I thought you guys needed
I
saving.
guess I guess the question would be, right, is like I mean, and this is one of those things where we can come back to it, right? But something to think about, like from a very base level, is like I don't know if Cheyenne would be involved in this, right? Like the captain's like off the deep end at this point,
wow.
and like he's off the reservation,
Hmm.
right? This is
Hmm.
not this is this is so non nothing company sanctioned that it's nothing company sanctioned. Do you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
Right.
so okay. I get what you're saying. So, how is what brings Cheyenne to this planet, Ryan? What? How does Cheyenne get involved in the story? Let's
So I
say
don't
that he's there to solve it diplomatically. I'm there to gamble. We know the stuff I just talked about. It might be changeable, but why are you there? Why does Cheyenne show up?
I mean, I feel like if
well,
we want
I
her to be in this episode, we can.
Well, Mike, do you
I
want?
also feel like this might. I think that what might help here is once with like the bounce around is like, all right, let's go back to episode 2 on Dracronaria because I know Cheyenne's being forced by the Nothing Corporation to go there. So like that's not a this. We don't have to make that decision, or we can change the decision. But I have a pretty funny good
Okay,
answer as to
so just to
why.
be clear, Cheyenne,
Like,
you're not in that episode. We're gonna move on to Dracronaria, back to the original.
Yeah, let's go to one where I'm
It's
in.
fine. It's not a big
This is
deal. We're on
I just
bullshit.
said without.
season
I just said
26,
without.
This is
guys. We're on season
disgusting.
26. It's fine. Season 26. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Cheyenne centered episode. We're in the royal throne room of Dracronaria. Draconaria. That is a mouthful to say. Draconaria. All right. Okay, so
On point.
Draconaria. We know right now that there's an asset that has been compromised. It's called the Egg of Divine Right.
Oh, do you
It,
want me to just read the thing? Can I just read the thing? Would that be okay?
sure.
Okay. We don't have to. I
Just read it.
wrote the thing. Okay.
I didn't.
I wanted you to
I
read
thought I
it.
was
But
doing what you sent me the file, Mike. I was reading the file.
I don't know what I sent you then. This is not the file I sent you. But anyway,
It's not.
I'll try it again. Well, no, I wanted the report thing. I'll just read it. It's okay.
I'm sorry, man. Well, anyways,
Let's be reading something
technical
else. But,
difficulties are plenty on the economy
like
of
look,
nothing.
yeah. At approximately 3:07, a local standard, the egg of divine right was reported missing from the ceremonial pedestal inside the Draconarian, probably not Draconian, probably
Draconaria.
Draconarian. We haven't
You wrote
decided yet.
it.
I know, but I've never said it out loud before. The Draconese people. I don't know how you.
Well,
They're not real people.
Draconaria.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. So the room had been secured. No unauthorized personnel were recorded entering through formal access points. The first responder, Sir Joreen, I don't know, I like putting extra layers, but Joreen, that's what I'm going to go with, was discovered unconscious at the scene with evidence of magical trauma. He reports seeing an unidentified figure near the egg before losing consciousness. No additional witnesses have been confirmed. Additional scene analysis indicates that the contents lock was not physically messed with, but it was magically overridden, meaning that either someone had used an unregistered invocation, suggesting either insider knowledge or legacy spellcraft, and then the suspect jumped through a stained glass window and outside the stained glass window, and you can see a shatter pattern on the ground outside.
Okay. All right. Just stop for a second. And I'm going to read it all over again. Okay? Because I got it up. The realm
Okay.
of fire and steel.
I'm a bad reader.
Right?
No, so I think what you're doing is I think you're trying to there's a link on top that's a
It
link
says
to the
Draconaria. The realm of fire and steel.
Yes. So the thing I was trying to say before was what I thought was like this is just kind of for like the backup. If we have questions about the planet, we have this. But like I don't think we need to know all of this stuff yet.
I just
think
thought this was the
all
original.
we need.
I'm sorry.
No, it's totally
Anyways,
cool. What happened?
I'm just adding things in the
Oh,
chat. Pasting piece
Uh,
by piece.
oh, here we go. At approximately 3:17 local standard, the Egg of Divine Right was reported missing from its ceremonial containment pedestal inside the Draconarian Royal Palace. The room had been secured for a scheduled loyalty broadcast. No authorized personnel were required to be there. I don't know. That's where it ended, Ryan.
I'm sorry, shit.
Finish it.
I cannot finish this. Not
I
in your
only
voice.
have this sick, sexy voice for so long.
No
Just give me
unauthorized
the rest.
personnel were recorded. Okay.
We were authorized personnel. We were in there like swimwear.
Oh, here. I could do it like this. I could do it like piece by piece by piece.
I got it.
Okay.
No, no unauthorized personnel were first responders. Sir Jorian was discovered unconscious at the scene with evidence of magical trauma. His report seen an unidentified figure near the egg before losing consciousness. No additional eyewitnesses have been confirmed. Initial scene analysis indicates the containment lock was not physically broken. Instead, it appears to have been magically overridden via an unregistered invocation suggesting either insider access or the use of legacy spellcraft beyond standard clearance. The suspect exited via the throne room's stained glass window. Outward shattered pattern, ledge markings, and an impact scoring confirm a forced egress. Drag patterns and residue indicate the egg was removed manually. The trail continues into the palace gardens and exits towards the forest perimeter. Tracking is ongoing.
All right. So basically, that's like the report
Mhm.
that we get. So basically, the captain shows up. This is the situation that's happened. Either while they're getting this, I think for easiness sake, they know that Cheyenne's there too. But basically, what happened is this is a distress call for the captain, right? He had showed up. The queen has is a client of the Nothing Corporation as part of their world building division. That's how she got in charge of the planet. And Cheyenne runs client services or customer service or whatever for the world building part of the organization. So she's customer service for Blackwater of the Nothing company, right? So this lady called them and was like, "Hey, someone stole my egg," and they didn't respond fast enough, so she dialed 911, basically, right?
Mm.
Okay.
Like she called her private security and they didn't show up, so she dialed 911, and now we're both there, right?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because
So
Cheyenne's be working other contracts in the galaxy, right?
yeah, because like the thought of like how the dispatch was working was that as you rise the leaderboard, you get to pick your jobs, and so then people have different ways of doing it, but one would assume Cheyenne would be picking jobs that would be specialized to the way her crew was there. So probably stuff like you know, helping out governments and stuff would probably be good for Cheyenne because she's got a lot of little workers to go out and do little stuff, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
like, pro- but probably coming to a little planet like Brenner Seven, there's no money in it for Cheyenne because she's got, even though they're unpaid interns, she's got to like feed them and stuff. You know what I mean, or something like
That's
that,
fair.
right? She's got
But can we
like,
assume that like in every video game, and I'll get back to on track, but I just think this is a key point.
no,
So
video games a good way to think about how
right,
these
right.
stories.
So I think about it like the board at the Nothing Corp looks like, you know, one of those boards in any RPG game where you go up and you can select your mission. And but these are all missions of the Nothing Corporation. I think too that for further down the line, like we will run into other boards because and then that what I think those lead us to like zany adventures, and the board at Nothing Corporation is like, you know, that's the end of season one once we tackle that board, or season two or something, you know, whatever it is.
Mm.
Yeah, there's the idea that like there are other boards, right? Or moreover, that like, and this is like the complicated thing that like when I'm like, Ryan, we need to like delve into like how things actually work, is um uh I just lost it. I feel crazy. What did you
Gas
just
station edibles kicking in.
No, I haven't. I should have taken one. I didn't. That's why I'm all over the place.
You were talking about the
Um,
different
so
boards.
Oh yeah, so like the idea is that they're like the freelancers get their stuff off the public boards, right? So these
Mhm.
are jobs that are out there that the Nothing Corporation is middle managing some of, right? Like especially the distress calls are like public calls that are being routed through the Nothing Corporation,
Mhm.
Yeah. So the Nothing
right?
Corporation is almost like a phone directory in that sense, right?
Like
Mm.
the way that the way that the captain and uh Mr. Green interact with it is like yeah, it's like contractor middlemen of like these people need help and like there's no governmental system to like call 911. There's like space FBI and military, but there's no like space sheriffs or what. You know what I
Well,
mean? There's not
and
like
I think what you're saying is that
Mm.
in this universe there's no government
it's been
support. It's
privatized.
all what's in it for them. Each person is what's in it for them, and that's what determines if you get saved or not. And you just better hope that there's the people like they're out there on the Moonshine crew, like the captain, that are willing to go off the beaten path to just not only get a sense of adventure, but to help people, right?
Mm.
Yeah, because the other people taking these, like, if they let these jobs pass on the board, the people at the bottom either like aren't capable or aren't willing to do them. So they're just going to come do the bare minimum and like not help these people. So screw it. Yeah, they can have that salvage job we were going to take. Who cares how well that ship gets salvaged? Like that
Mm.
doesn't
Right.
mean it.
And it would feed into the narrative that one of the reasons why the captain likes that is because it gets him more fame from like a fan base, as opposed to like Green's method, which is like getting promoted at work.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a line in one of the original scripts where after the captain explains everything to him, Mr. Green goes, "Oh, so your plan's to out review everybody?" And the captain's upset with that. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, that's an oversimplification of my plan, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so that was great. I'm glad we fleshed that out. Let's get back to we had just gotten the distress call, and this is what we set the scene with my sexy voice narrative. Yep. And now, Mike, you
Okay.
were discussing.
So this would be, I think this is some interplay between between our main characters here. But at the end of it, the captain is going to go with his plan, which is there's three leads, and the captain's going to go talk to the guard that was injured, the witness guard that was injured. There's like three other options that like Cheyenne could do, and I have ways those can go. So we can like discuss this decision. I can tell you what the captain's going to go do, or we can see how Cheyenne's feeling about this situation. Does she need more information? What
I
else has
think
happened?
I think
You
if
know.
you go through scenario one and scenario two, and then have Cheyenne give her spin on it, because I think she'd be able to process it better. How do you feel, Ryan,
Mm-hmm,
about that?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you
Okay.
take the sleep goggles off and actually pay attention now,
I
please?
am paying attention. I also had an edible. Leave me alone.
The gas station variety?
I, no, well, it was given to me by my friends. I don't know where it came from.
I've
She could have
never
drugged
heard.
me.
Audience,
That's
you
the
this is
best
a
type
rare
of
moment. I've never heard Ryan McDonald this
Uh-huh.
quiet on the podcast.
Well, I feel like sometimes the first time I ever got high, I like other people in the room were talking and it felt like I was talking. So like the
And you everybody's
impulse,
talking for you.
well, yeah, like the impulse I feel to like chime in and being like, I have to say something now. It like everyone else is accomplishing. So
Yeah.
I kind of
Do you
just
know what
like
that is? Do you know what that is? It's
good
your anxiety,
vibes.
right? Like, normally your anxiety is being like, I should say something right now. But then
Mm.
you stopped and you listened, and
Stay
then someone
school,
said it for you.
baby.
Everyone, Mike Allen's trying to bring up my childhood trauma again and
It always comes back
anxieties.
to childhood
It
trauma.
always comes back to the drum.
Yeah, I think I would have a better assessment of it then. I mean, I was also going to say it might be interesting if Cheyenne, my thought of how they were both going to be there was that Cheyenne would have like gotten the request and like been fulfilling it, but I feel like there is a version where Mr. Green like has a ping or an insider at the Nothing Corp whenever like a high asset job comes up, he can like know about it or be sent to it as
All right,
well. So
I'm gonna
that's why
pause on you.
it's technically like
I
Cheyenne's jurisdiction
I
or
get that,
something.
and the only
Yeah.
reason that
Thoughts?
we're gonna come back to that because I think you're gonna want to expand on what Mike Reynolds wrote, because it's
Totally.
going to give you two options for
Okay.
you, and then I think you're going to have a combined option in your head. So I'm just trying to
Oh.
save it
Yeah,
for
yeah,
all your
yeah.
good all your good brain
All
juice
right.
that you got left. Okay. So Cheyenne's investigation. Choose your own adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Scene
Mm-hmm.
start. Cheyenne is in the throne room. The egg of divine right is gone. There's broken glass, a bypass lock, and one unconscious guard. The Queen is already rewriting history. The captain's picked a lead, but you don't report to the captain. You see three clear paths forward. Option
Mm-hmm.
one, interview interview the guard.
Wait, do you have the third one? I don't think
No,
you
I'm
have
going
the
to
third
let
one.
him do the third one,
Oh,
based off option one and two.
Oh, okay. I have a
Yeah.
third one also, but okay.
But let's just see how this works. All right. So,
Alright.
option one, Cheyenne. She can interview the guard, which starts with go with the captain. You accompany Tracy to the infirmary. The injured guard, Sir Jorn, is groggy but lucid. He says he saw a hooded figure standing at the egg. Then everything went white. He never saw a weapon, but heard chanting. Old magic, forgotten magic. This leads you both to a washed up wizard who confirms it wasn't stolen. The egg, it heard the call. You and Tracy track the spell's origin to a rebel occupied ruin in the forest. You arrive with the captain. You help decide what to do with the egg. That's option one.
Mhm.
Option two is examine the lock. Stay behind and investigate. The arcane seal wasn't broken, it was invited open. You cross check the ruins. No match in corporate archives. You head to the Royal Wizard Library, and the scribes stall you until you find an old record. Pre-draconic override spell. It's considered to be very rare and illegal. Dangerous. Cheyenne realizes that the egg didn't get taken, it agreed to leave. You follow the same trail, but arrive late. Tracy, Captain Tracy's already has the egg, and he's not sure you should have it, I assume. You arrive second.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's a
Yeah. You
confrontation.
arrive Yeah, you arrive second, and Tracy has the egg.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
go
mhm.
Now I
which I
know that
was
there's some missing pieces there for you, but like I think you get a little bit of it.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
one's a safer path, one's a little bit more riskier and heads on with the captain on what to do with the egg. So, and
Mhm.
then if you
Well
have a third option, I'd like to hear it.
well, does it
what
hatch? The egg does it leaves, but it doesn't hatch or anything, it just, like, the egg moves?
well, that's more,
The who cares
that's more
part?
poetic because what they're gonna end up doing is going to the wizard library.
Mhm, mhm.
And at the wizard library, everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, how'd this lock break?" Or "How did the
Mm.
egg move?" And they're like, "This is" the guard said that he heard people doing this old like, this chanting or whatever, like, "That's not real magic, that's bullshit," or whatever, right?
Mhm.
And then they're gonna and then depending on whether you come or you don't come or you do it or whatever is like that, but then they end up finding, like, a guy who's like, "You gotta come over here," and he's like, "That's actually the old like, this is, like, this different type of magic that when the queen came into power, she kind of outlawed, but, like, she uses it. Like, her people get to use it, but no one else gets to
Mm.
use it." So,
Okay.
like,
It's dark
there's
dragon
people
magic.
out in the woods that still use it, right?
Totally, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's how you find out where
So it's
you're
like a
going out there.
necromancer dark dragon spell.
And then, of course, if you choose the lock path, it's the same thing, except for, like, I was like, "Well, there's something different has to happen." So, like,
Mhm, mhm.
Cheyenne won't be on screen, and she just gets there afterwards. I thought maybe what she would end up doing if she got there by herself is like, get all of her interns to just read all the books, and
Mhm,
then like
mhm.
what find the answer or something like.
Well, what I was thinking was that she would go to like the equivalent of a security tapes. She's like, someone show me like the footage of and I'm
Okay, yeah.
picturing there's like magical
Someone jumped out the
crystals or
window.
mirrors.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a series of mirrors
Okay.
like that they can kind of always look through. So she is like poring over this, but also annoyed as fuck because like magic does not exist to her. She's just like, what the fuck is going on this planet? So she's just like she's like trying to micromanage wizardry by they're like, well, ma'am, the stars must be in alignment on the third day of, and she's just like, god damn it, and she's just like pissed off basically. But I do think that I like the idea that she comes across a piece of information, she can go to the library or like have some kind of investigation of this, where maybe like the librarian, I don't know, whatever, however she gets to the library is totally
It
fine. I
would
just
be
want her
called a
in odds with the
dragonary.
captain.
Sorry,
Sorry, what?
dragonary is what it'd
So
be.
Yes,
It'd be
well,
called a dragonary.
yeah, the Dragonary.
what I think's funny is like I think the captain doesn't like magic either.
Uh-huh.
Like I think they're on the same page about not liking magic, right? Like,
Yeah. Well,
but
because
like,
this planet is really weird to have magic, right? Or is magic like all over every planet?
well, what's weird? Nothing's really
Yeah,
normal,
yeah,
Ryan.
yeah.
Can I
Um,
say that Mr.
uh,
Green
but
likes magic?
but to the point of this planet, to that exact point, right?
Sure.
it just the first 3 episodes, take place on Brenner 7, a cowboy planet, then, Dracronaria, we should change the name of this fucking planet.
Dracronaria.
Well, also it's very
Wait,
similar to a
like,
word
Dracronaria.
draconian.
I think it'd
So
be funny if we called it like Draconary, but they're like it's Draconaria.
so for a long time, there were, like, multiple entries in the codex because I just kept spelling it wrong, so I just kept having multiple HTMLs that kept showing
oh
up.
my god.
I was just spelling it differently every time.
So
Um,
I'll get back to where we're at on there. I just want to say one thing, and I'm not saying it has to stay, but if Mr. Green had like a, the size of like a Scrappy Doo dragon, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as like a little sidekick at some point, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe I'd take it home. It's a dog.
oh, well,
Mm.
in episode 9, all right, sure. In episode 19, I think it's episode 19, when they go back there for what is it? A Reckoning on Draconaria, Return of the Rim Keepers, The Rise of the Phoenix Queen, or something like that.
Yes.
Uh,
No,
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, so we come back, right? Okay, so
and
why
it's a
while
baby
we're
dragon.
right, right. So if you guys are like, there's this intense thing going on between you on this planet. Like this guy, you have Captain Tracy and you have Cheyenne, like
Mm.
really butting heads on the way this goes.
Fired
And
up.
I think Green is just like along for the ride, but he also thinks that y'all's argument on this is a bit ridiculous. But he's mostly distracted by the magic around him, and he runs across a friendly dragon on our travels
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
help us survive. And the whole time, Captain's like, dude, you can't bring back a dragon home. Your wife will kill you. And it's like, dude, I'm bringing this dragon home. But something happens where we get separated later.
Mm.
But when we come back, that baby dragon ends up saving us somehow.
Mm.
And then comes home with me later in episode 19.
Hell yeah.
And then you just get a baby dragon. Then I
That's
just have
how
to
you
animate a baby.
foreshadow a story.
Yeah, but no, it could stay at my house. Like it can only show up
Yeah.
in like funny stuff. But I just think that
No,
that would be like a cool little like, right? It's another way that
I like
Mr.
it.
Green would care about something other than money.
I mean,
Love
that's
that.
part of the fun of, like, going back places, right? Is, like, part of it is so that we know we have to build in stuff to go back, but also it's like you have a fun idea that's like there's no place in this episode for him to have a dragon buddy. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just as it's constructed, but like
Well, would that be his little
part of the
trinket that he wanted to bring back, but like he didn't get? Does that mean on this planet he would get nothing? And he's like, "What the fuck? We had left empty-handed, and I wanted that dragon." Or do you want him to have a little trinket, maybe a reminder of the
It could
dragon?
just be like it could be a little baby dragon in a shop. It doesn't have to be a lot. Like I was like, that's the cutest thing I've ever seen. It could be a little purple dragon with little green dino spikes, and he breathes just like little baby fire, but he's like
you know
sassy, like he's
the
like
image
mean, but he's like
the
fun
image for
mean.
episode the image for episode 19 is Mr. Green and Cheyenne
Uh-huh.
riding on a dragon facing down another dragon.
Wow.
So it could we can run a situation where the captain needs to go to Mount Doom or what he needs to go do whatever thing, and they need to go off now that like it's the second half of the season. They're chilling together. They need to go off and do this, and like maybe this is a moment where like Cheyenne can get some like respect for Mr. Green or whatever because she thinks he's kind of like a dummy or whatever. But it's like, yeah, I can talk to dragons. Can you talk to dragons? Like I
Yeah.
have a dragon.
We'd all be like flying, all of us flying on the dragon to like take down a boss or something at a planet, and then
Maybe Cheyenne could learn
Mr.
how
Green
to
be up
think
front,
like
you
a
guys be behind me, and he'd look back and he goes, "Remember when you said it was a bad idea to take this dragon home? Huh? Funny, right?
dragon.
Just very bland, throws it out there.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a good callback joke. So
I agree. I think I like the idea of this being a conflict between the captain and Cheyenne.
I do too. Now, what's
Well, but I
what's
think,
your third?
well, what I was thinking as we're going through this as well, though, to contextualize, like, if I'm going to look at the magic mirrors or the scrying orbs or whatever it is like maybe the queen. I'm assuming that, like, I normally would interact, like, Cheyenne normally would be interacting with the the queen or like whatever royal emissary that takes in requests, because like it's a queen that goes to the corporation. So if she is a person that's like working on world outreach, I think that she would kind of be like caught up in like the queen's version of events. You know what I mean? Like whatever those are. So she can be like, "Oh, come and look at our security footage. Oh, like my librarian might know information about that or whatever." So I think that when she gets to the egg, I'm not sure what the egg, like the paths that the egg will take, but it seems like she would side just with the queen basically.
And I think, oh, sorry, I do have a bounce on that, but you can go, Mike.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add some context to what you're saying. I think I agree with everything you're saying. I think that she would be on the queen's side and into whatever the queen wants because she believes in. I think the reason that she wants to help these people because she sees that there's a lot of diplomacy at this planet,
Mm,
and that she likes the politeness
mm.
of the people that she's talking to. She generally like feels like she's making friends,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
Like
mhm. She's networking.
she's networking. She sees the vibrant soul of the city through the people that she's working with, and
Mhm.
she generally wants to help in the best way that she thinks she can help. And all right, Mike, what you wanted to bounce something off that?
Oh, well, no, I think that that does play fairly well with when I was sitting here and being like, okay, I need to like figure out this decision point right here for this conversation. I was like, okay, so why gave the three choices to the captain in my head, and the captain was like, he's gonna go talk to the witness because, man, fuck this monarchy bullshit. In his mind, there's one victim, this guy that got knocked out, right? Like,
Mhm.
so like he's gonna go ask that guy, like, and so like the queen would be like, so maybe Cheyenne would be like, well, proper procedure in this would be to go first monitor the you know step one in the protocol is check all surveillance footage. And the guy's like, yeah, well, he probably jumped out that window and then into the woods. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah,
that's not
I
really
think
like, we're not, what are
I
we going to glean?
I love that, but to add context to it, I think this is a good case to like have like one of her two lackeys, her unpaid interns next to her,
Mhm.
that are just
Mhm.
like reciting off the code from the Draconaria's like constitution, and it's like Amendment 27B, um, third paragraph states that the first yeah.
Oh, would she be somehow constrained by Draconian laws
Right,
because
because she
like
believes that this
because
Mhm.
she's
society's nice.
emis
Yeah.
what she's an she ha her job is to believe that the society's nice, right?
Yeah,
Like that she
I
Mhm.
think I
perceives
think in
this
general,
society,
Cheyenne's
right?
look
Like,
is like I don't want to disrupt like someone's worldview or their economy
Mhm.
or whatever they've created. I will play within the rules of them to give them what they want. Where the captain is like, there's only one rule and that's my rule. you know, it doesn't matter what we're on.
as always, the captain wouldn't phrase it like that.
He would never say
Yeah,
something
but
of the
that's I mean
sort.
that's deep down how he feels, right? I mean, like a war veteran who's saved the world against the robot galaxy is going to feel like, John McClane. Like he knows what's best.
Thank
And
God
so
this is recorded.
he's the John McClane here, and
Mhm.
Ryan is the one there's the Meryl Streep doing it the proper way, through the proper procedures. And Mr. Green's like, this could all just be solved with like if we just go take this egg. like we could just go right now
Yeah,
and take it. like
Mhm.
I there's well, so they don't know who took it initially, right? So
Right,
they
but
don't
he's
know.
like, we should just be out there hunting for who has this egg. We have scanners and shit, guys. We
Yeah.
can do this.
Like well, so I think so. One of the things is that like talking about the Rangers in the situation, they again they're very like feeling their way through the world, and so they come with like pretty standard kid packages or whatever as their like thing. And so like I
No
think
personality.
that's kind of Alex's view of the situation. Like, why are we on? This is lame. We took a horse from our spaceship. Like, what are we? He's with Green. Like, can't we solve this with our spaceship,
We
please?
don't even
Right?
need to
Whereas,
leave the spaceship. We could
yeah,
literally be playing video games right now, and this could be over.
yeah, yeah. And the captain's like, "We two stop it. You'll ruin the show." Like,
Uh-huh.
we can't solve everything for the ship.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you better speed it up. You only got about 12 minutes left. So,
Yeah.
No, I meant like in the show
Yeah,
of the episode, not right now.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly. And then of course I think Eric is more like like he's more the one that's like interested in like, oh, like they've never seen magic before. They're new to space, so they're new to magic, right? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Eric was just like, just kind of like, and I think Mr. Green, having kids himself, respects that, so that's why he's like, well, we got to do it. But I will complain about it occasionally because it's like,
Yeah.
it's wanderlust, like, kids out there seeing stuff for the first time. You're like, well, I'm not going to be the guy that like robs them of seeing dragons. And then I'm down there and I run across a baby dragon in a shop, and I'm like, oh man, this is kind of cool. I
Hmm.
didn't even want to come off the ship, but now I'm out here. I want that dragon. I'm going to buy that dragon. They're not going to stop me from
There's
buying the dragon. It's coming back.
there is a there's like an innocence to Mr. Green behind his killing machine or alien eyes or whatever. You know what
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean? Like, like, because there is, you know, as we don't touch on it too much, he has some sort of memory thing. He's missing some stuff. Some stuff is the first time he's seeing stuff. He's excited. He's like he's frustrated and excited, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, he's like getting, I don't want to say he's getting his memories back, but he's definitely like learning how to ride a bike mentally again with things and life and stuff because he's been at the Nothing Corporation for so long that he's just done it this way and it's worked, and it's like, why steer from the path?
he got a head injury and then they were like, do this job, and he hasn't thought about it since.
Yeah, and now he's like
He got a
waking up
head
and he's like,
injury.
I don't have to do this job. Or even if I did the job, I could just do it my way. Why do I even care? You know?
Well, but then
And
that comes to the question of like, what is the task? I guess, or is that not
the task is recover the
for
egg.
the queen and like give it back to her, and she'll give you what, like a gold or just whatever the corporation gets.
A blowy.
She just pays
Yeah. But the captain, like,
a blowy.
so the captain's sell for Green at the end
No.
is going to be, dude, if we return this egg to
Yeah.
the dragon has gold. It'll give us some of its gold probably. Also, I just don't want to help this queen, if I'm totally honest with you. And we can just ditch this dispatch call. It doesn't matter, right? Like,
That's the
because
captain's.
uh,
Did you say?
yeah, they can ditch this because this is going on Cheyenne's record. The captain's technically helping Cheyenne out here.
I
Mm.
think I think
Until he decides to take the egg, and then he's screwing Cheyenne over.
hold on.
Theoretically,
I think if you
if
go
she's
down the
customer
path,
service,
hear me out. I think you go
right?
with option two. The option two where you two confront. And I think this is a good time to show some heat and passion in the show in the sense of like
Sexual.
sexual tension
No,
for sure.
sorry. Go ahead.
And sexual tension and a little bit just the disagreement there and how it gets heated. Like
Mm. Hmm,
it's
hmm.
where like Cheyenne gets to really like showcase her morals with like a really like good speech that Ryan's gonna have to sit down and write, which I
Beautiful.
know he's gonna love. But it's gonna fucking
Cheyenne,
be it's only gonna be like 2 paragraphs, but it's gonna be the
I
best
guess
damn two
here,
paragraphs you ever heard.
I guess here's the question. So
Concise.
here's I'm gonna solve this for us right now. I'm going to assume that since taking option three is option three, that's going to be using the technology to just pursue the bad guy, right? Which I'm going to assume that means follow. Can we say that option three, follow the escape trail, falls into what you're thinking, right? Like a target hard to get search of like using the, like, you know, like what the U.S. Marshals would do to track somebody down is what Cheyenne's going to do with the playbook, right?
I mean, I guess if we wanted to be like Harrison Ford from Fugitive, but
I don't know. I
Mhm.
just had a line in my head, so I said it. My point being is if Ryan does the one he does, I'm willing to accept that it's option three, and then Cheyenne gets the egg first.
I think Cheyenne should get the end first because if you really don't care at a certain point, maybe 2/3 of the way of the episode, you're like, you know what, you can have this one, Cheyenne. I'll help you. Maybe because she's helped you out so many times.
Oh.
No, absolutely not. The captain's not going to help Cheyenne out.
Wow.
She's never helped the captain out. What are you talking about? This
Wow.
is episode two. He doesn't know
Oh,
the
sorry. I
future.
forgot we're
Like
on
you've forgotten
season
you've
'The
forgotten
26.
you've
truth
seen all this
comes
season.
out.
He has absolutely no reason to help Cheyenne right now. Why would he? She's just kind of mean to him. Like
Well, but I think that like the
Okay, well,
reason why she takes the egg back to the queen, like there's like the queen path for the egg, right? And then there's what's the other path basically? Like returning it to the dragon mom. You would just have to discover that
we
information somehow. Have
I just
you
think
said
if
what that
whenever
is?
you do edit
well,
this
we discovered it.
podcast in cartoon form, to make sure to get Ryan rubbing his nipple in it because it's very hilarious.
First, I was flicking my
We'll get
first.
AI on it, baby.
First, I'm flicking boogers that don't exist, and now I'm touching nipples. Well, those do exist, I guess. So I have no
Oh, he's
excuse.
doing it again.
I have no
He's
excuse.
Giving the
doing it
old
again, boy.
nipple flick.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like
Sickos.
for
Absolutely
as
sick
like the
purge.
episode like so if we want to have the actual discussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
The episode in my mind ends with them finding a dragon and now Mr. Green getting a fun dragon friend for the next episode
Mm.
or for like a couple episodes later. Like I just like if we want to like Cheyenne was supposed to push for doing the for going with the queen, but like
Mm.
it was supposed to go with or else we have to come up with like oh like because it also ends with the queen's a member of the dark orbit, right? So this is a matter of like
Yeah.
uh
Remember
like
that,
we said
Ryan?
like so Captain
I
Washington
do,
who's
but it's just so
is a
funny how
is
nonchalantly
part
he
of the
just
dark
said
orbit.
she's
The
obviously a
dark
member of the
orbit.
dark orbit.
What the fuck is the
Okay.
Right,
dark
well,
orbit?
well consider the
Team
idea like
Rocket.
we can change her to Queen Scarlet if this is when you want to use the Queen
Ooh.
Scarlet. Like she can be the Scarlet member of the Dark Order. Like there needs to be a royal queen. You like the idea of the captain talking to the
Yeah,
queen. This
yeah.
Mm.
is her.
And remember, that's like all of
Beautiful.
her orphanage unpaid interns. That's like where she
And
gets all
then
the
Mr.
unpaid
Green,
intern.
Mr. Green
Orph
can have this
So
can start
fucked.
the but does Mr. Green know these people situation, right?
Mm.
Because if it isn't Miss Scarlet, we decide Mr. Green has to have some kind of relation with her when she's introduced to the story. So the Queen Scar in the bit, it's like you want her to be a queen, if I'm remembering this
Yeah,
correctly.
dude. He's talking
I
about
think there's
Clue,
sort of
Ryan.
Yes, yes, I get. I recall Colonel.
too high, everyone.
No, I recall Colonel Mustard and Mr. Green and Miss Scarlet, Miss Peacock, and Professor Plum. No, but my question was,
Mike, it's a go with the Queen Scarlet thing. I think
Okay,
that's
all right. So
solid.
new
no, I think that
name is
will
Queen
do. But
Scarlet.
also,
Okay,
that was supposed to.
No, no,
the
he's still
high ride guys.
Cheyenne. It's just your nickname in your organization is your Queen Scarlet, and everybody because you're kind of a cult because you have all these unpaid interns, right?
They can.
Yeah,
Wait, you're trying to say Wait, you're trying to say Cheyenne's the Scarlet?
yeah. I
I
think
don't
that
like
she
that.
has her own like. I think that
I don't like
Cheyenne
that at all.
has like a lot of her power
You think
comes from the
Cheyenne's in
fact.
the Dark Orbit?
Yeah,
This is
dude,
taking a turn. This is like honestly, guys.
This is
I
a
gotta tell
big
you,
plot
I'm in
twist.
cliffhanger. Like I don't know about this. Giants, like I have to tell you, like originally Cheyenne was supposed to be some sort of foil that was maybe trying to like pull out the best in the captain,
Yeah.
and like now she's in the dark or like now she has like slaves and she's in the dark orbit. This is like a problem. I mean, it's fine, we can do it. I just like it's not where my head was at.
no, and that's why the captain like is like,
Holy
dude,
shit.
like Cheyenne's like, I'm only out here in the dark orbit so that I can do what I need to do without the Nothing Corporation bothering me. So it's like her
Oh,
commute
she's
commuting to
stacking
work.
purposes on top of each other. It's like, oh, I'm only with the Nothing Corporation for this, and now I'm only with the Dark Orbit to get away from the Nothing Corporation, and then she's only going to be with the next bullshit to get away from the Dark Orbit.
Yeah,
Wait, is
yeah,
she
and like she commutes
Palpatine?
to work and she goes home and like she's just lived like on the rim of the dark orbit, right? Like she's friends with all the people in the
Mm.
dark orbit, but at the same time, like
They're
she
ruining
would
the Dark
never
Orbit.
bring them to like a work party,
Mm.
um,
Mm-hmm,
because they just have radical different views. And also, you kind of like are allowed to run a cult over there if you want and free labor, but it's
I really want someone to
orphanage and
run
it's
the
also like they're your interns, but I mean, you do fast track some, but like, and that's your justification. It's like they
mm-hmm.
get paid. It's
Mm-hmm.
just they have to prove it, and you're like, but that would never fly if you were in the Nothing Corp district. and you're all about the rules, and that's what the captain's always like. It's like you only fucking play by the rules when it suits you, and
Secretly?
that's why. Yeah, and I think that makes the most sense, honestly.
Oh my gosh, that's such malicious motivation.
So this is a wild, like far afield thing, but I like for whatever reason, I was just thinking about the munitions guy,
Uh-huh.
and I was just I must know like what does he think about be like because they're in it's just Lord of the Rings times there. Like, do you know what I mean?
You mean
But
on
like you
Yeah.
can blow stuff
Draconaria?
up. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so like I would imagine they have some sort of like like they can't just be allowing people to bring space weapons down there, right? So he's got to be mad that he can't bring his bombs or something,
Well, is that
right?
why they're off
Like
the ship
sounds
and that they had to take horses? Because, like, within the city
like a
limits
good
or
reason.
something, there's like no technology
Well, how
allowed.
else? Yeah, and so that's probably how they have to so like the Nothing Corporation like controls it in a space way. But in
Mm-hmm.
order to control the whole thing, they've instituted a puppet government. So
Yeah.
like, oh, you guys are running yourself. You still have your traditional olden timey shit. Don't worry. We're just running the rest of the universe out here and your president. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's good. I liked it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I just assuming we went with my dark orbit thing. I kind of stopped listening after that.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't have to go with anything. I'm just like now that like we're at this point right here where we're like, okay, so do my question is, so do you would this be a more interesting scenario to you if Cheyenne gets there first? If they have to like they get there at the same time and have to strategize, or if the captain gets there first?
I mean, I think that if you want the
What
egg,
would you rather write? What would you rather see? What would you rather hear about? Right? You know what I mean? Like, piques your interest most? They're outside of camp together. One of them's already in the camp. One of them's not. Like, what's you know what I mean? What are we feeling?
well, the end of the episode, you
I
eventually.
feel they go in together so they can do at least a fun action scene together before they like get mad at each other again. But but like dramatically, it's probably more interesting for one of them to have an upper hand. But of course, if they go in together, one of them just grabs it and then they have the upper hand right away, kind of too, right? Because they're holding the egg.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like you
So,
already got it, Mike. Why don't you just tell us what happens?
well, I think they should go in together.
Okay.
Okay.
I, and so the question would be, does Cheyenne like? I think like either Cheyenne can come with them and they each keep catching up at the same spot, but they're technically taking different like route. Like they're choosing their own adventures, but there's only one way to
Mm-hmm.
go,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they go in and they take these people down, and that's when they find after they're taking them down, that's when they find out that these are the rebels, right? They don't know that the rebels told they don't know they're doing like it's not until the moment they take them down that they realize, oh, not only was this not for the captain does anyway. Not only is this not a distressed call, it's a distress call from like a queen who not only didn't got her egg stolen, it wasn't really her egg, and it was stolen by the rebels who are actually the like original people of the planet. Like it all falls apart, and at this point, it's all laid out in front of us, and that's where like the people have to like start making the choices. And the captain's choice is in a real way, it's a deflection choice. He doesn't make a choice. He creates a third choice for himself, so he doesn't have to pick. Right?
Okay, let me rephrase that for you. I think what you're talking about is the choice going in that is obvious is the egg that has been stolen. Either Cheyenne wants to give it back to the Dragon Lady due to all the reasons that we talked about, her liking the culture and respecting the diplomacy and yada yada yada,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the other option is help the rebels. But then the captain's like,
I
I don't
think
have to do
Green.
any of this. I can just take this egg and I can give it back to the dragon, and then it just goes back to the way it was, and then we can peace out. Is that what you're saying?
But Green, like there are three things like Green has someone has to take the side of the rebels, the, the rebels are the side everyone should want to take. It's the one that makes the most sense based
Okay,
on the
so
things we
Mr.
know.
Mr. Green takes the side of the rebels in the sense that he's just like,
Yeah.
all right, finally, I'm been so bored, we get to blow some stuff up or shoot some stuff or maybe, cap
Well,
somebody.
like they're in like they could be they can the rebels just offer a reward. They'll just pay us to go away.
And
Oh my
leave
God.
the egg with them.
Yes.
Mm.
Leave the egg.
Okay.
I,
They'll like we can take your stuff, right?
okay, so this is just the
And
easiest
Mr.
to
Green's
animate
not such a
option,
cold-hearted.
is what you're telling me.
What do you what do you mean?
You
I'm
would
saying like
rather have
with
just
these
a
characters,
payment
there has to be
scene
three
over
choices
like,
presented to them, right? That's like the like if Mr. Green doesn't want to take a side, then then it's not as interesting because then
no, I'm
no one's
saying
taking
Mr.
a side
Green
of
would
the
want to
rebels.
take the side of the rebels because we're about to do some like action. Like, and that's what he's pushing for. And he's like, yeah, I know that's the way the captain's gonna go because that's the way he always goes. But like, it's a different version of the captain now, right? Because he's
Oh, so
thinking
Green
different.
thinks that Green. Oh, so Green's ready for the captain to lead the revolution on this planet. He
Yeah, I
thinks
think
that
that's what we're doing the
that's
whole
what we're
time.
doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah,
He's like, oh no, Captain, I'm on board with what you're saying. Bloody revolution, right? And the captain's like,
yeah,
that's not exactly what I had
yeah.
in mind.
And I think whatever the third option is that the captain chooses, like Mr. Green just looks at him and is like, "What the hell was that?" Like what
Right.
what
Mm-hmm.
happened? Like,
And you want the captain
and
to
then
want to
that's what.
take the egg back to the dragon mommy.
So what's the third option? What's the captain's third option?
Well, that's the third. I guess here's the thing: we can tell a story where I don't know, they pick one of those options, and we do a story where they do a story we've seen before. But I
Oh,
don't know.
if
I
you
thought
don't
it'd
know,
be
just say you don't know. We'll go to Ryan.
Oh.
I I don't not know. What I'm saying is I think that it's two things. It's a hat on a hat on a hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
know, and I'm
this
trying to
idea
get
that
you there. I'm trying to get you to the third hat. We know the two hats. We know Cheyenne's hat. We know Mr. Green's hat that also thinks it, for once, it aligns with Captain's hat. But the third option,
but
which
the
I'm just
egg
assuming
isn't a
is you
symbol, it's
take
an
the egg.
egg.
I know, but where does the egg go, Mike? Does it go back to the dragon? What are we
Back to
doing
the
with the egg?
dragon. It's none of these fucking people's egg. Why
Exactly. And
did
why
they're
do we
fighting
go
over
back to the
eggs for
dragon,
no
Mike?
reason? What?
Tell me. Why are we going back to the dragon? Why are you gonna how are you gonna get it there? You just gonna pick it up and walk out with all these rebels right here? How where's the scene there, Mike? What happens? What
Well, no,
happens?
we,
No, how do we
we
get
already
out of
took
there with
out.
the egg? We gotta get out of there with the egg,
Well,
right?
I know, but that's why we had to what I'm saying is I thought we just agreed that they're going in there, they take out the rebels, and they don't realize they're the rebels till after they take them out.
Okay, we I definitely don't remember that, but okay.
Because there's a version where the captain shows up first. There's a version where Cheyenne shows up first, and there's a version where they show up together. And in a version where they show up together, they can maybe figure out that they're rebels before something happens. But the captain and Mr. Green, I don't. If they show up, I think they can figure it out. I don't know if Cheyenne figures it out, right? If the captain and Mr. Green show up, just like we're saying, they're on the same page. By the time they're getting into the jungles and seeing all this stuff, they're like, shit, it's rebels, isn't it? Yeah, it's fucking they know the game at that point, so they wouldn't have to fight the rebels. They'd probably be there having a conversation with the rebels when Cheyenne shows up and goes, "What's going on with all this rebellion, Captain? Are you talking to them? I need that." You know what I mean?
All right,
But it
yeah, let's
depends
go with
how they
that.
want to show up.
I'd like to go with that option, please. Whatever option that you seem most excited about. And that seemed like it was it. Right, Ryan?
That did seem like an option you were excited about. I mean, I think that if the rebels are in possession of the egg, and then the captain wants to take it away from them, and Cheyenne wants to take it away from them, then they could technically have an action scene together if you wanted to just be like, we'll just beat up a few people. Or on the way in, they can have an action scene together where they beat up a few people and discover the rebels together. I don't know if the timing of that is as pertinent, except unless you assume that whoever shows up has already beaten up the rebels and gotten the egg, or do they like eliminate all the rebels? You know what I mean? When do they like take them out?
But the only reason the action scene would matter is when
Mhm.
we start not to this point it doesn't um when we talk about plotting it out, just because like the idea is there's 2 or 3 action scenes, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Like per episode, like we're not like breaking it down like that, but it's like, okay, well, we're not going to have them fight through the forest, get there, and then immediately fight again. Probably that's just probably like it's not a good flow of a story, right? We need to, if that is going to happen, then that would mean that like we have to, that means Cheyenne's not with them, and that means we need to flesh out that, so like we have to cut away to like Cheyenne doing her investigation, so that it's not like back to back, just like the captain punching his way through the woods or whatever, you know what I mean? Um, but
Yeah, I
it's
do.
fine. Like like how they get out of there isn't as interesting to me as like the dynamics afterwards of like I came up with this idea that like I don't know where the dragon is.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so like the planet used to be ruled by dragons, and then at a certain point, it kind of became like a mutual rule, humans and dragons, and there was an egg. It
Mhm.
was a symbolic egg
A
that was like
symbolic egg.
hey, it's like we're having uh it's like it's showing you that we're there. But then as time went on, the dragons died off and it became all a symbol until the Blackwater, until they came to go do the world building, and in order to make it seem fully authentic, they were saying, oh, it's like the olden days, here's a real dragon egg, right? And so now the egg of divine right's like a real dragon egg that's like stuck in stasis,
Mm.
but the original tradition was never even a real dragon egg, right? This is
All
a
right.
stolen
Can
dragon
I
egg.
can I offer an easier solution, an easier to animate solution? All right. I think
Right?
you have Cheyenne bust in. When Cheyenne busts in and says that these are the rebels, you working with the rebels, and we're like over here, we're like, huh, we didn't know they were rebels. You know, we just thought they were like wanting cash for the egg. You know, like we were just gonna buy it from them.
Mhm.
And they were like, we would never sell this egg. This egg has so much meaning to her, to egg and fucking human mankind and how we've worked together. And during this long exposition, the captain just grabs the egg and Green's like, oh shit,
Fucking
and just has to knock a dude out. And Cheyenne's like, are we really doing this? And we're just running out together. And Green and Cheyenne goes like, so what's your plan? And you're like, uh, I don't know. And you run to the spaceship and we take off and you have the egg. And I think a really funny twist on that would be is that it's not a dragon egg. It actually hatches and it's like a baby chicken, like a baby chick. And
Uh-huh.
and then we're like,
I
well, I guess we don't have to go back. And then credits.
And then they do have to go back
yeah.
in episode 18.
Well, like, you can't be a chicken because it's got to be your dragon buddy, right?
No, but that's the funny thing. Is like the thing they were
The
fighting
dragon
over, it
buddy
didn't
not.
matter because it wasn't even a real dragon egg. It was just some fake egg somebody high up said was a dragon egg to unify people. The reality
Mm.
is the dragons and humans would never get along and would eat each other, and the other would try to kill the other.
Shit.
Okay, but how about that's the ending? Okay, like the action sequence is them getting to the egg, and then the conclusion is that. But like, okay, here's like a tag idea, right? Is like the tag is they leave to go return the egg, and the tag is just them like running out of a cave with like fire chasing them. Be like, why did we think this was a good idea? These dragons are trying to eat us, or something. You know, like just like a classic like cartoon. Like, whoa, this was a bad idea the whole time, and like running away kind of thing. Like, I don't know.
And it hatches and it turns into a chicken, like a baby chicken, and we still get credits for the haul because that's just a baby chicken that's going to grow to a big chicken, and that produces a lot of
But like
chicken.
they're not getting credits for the haul if they
Why
don't.
not?
Like
We brought back a baby chick that's going to produce like a year's worth of chicken. That could feed a lot of mouths, Mike. Once it's full grown.
A year's worth of chicken is diabolical,
Yeah,
as the
and that's
kids
our
would
argument to the
say.
Nothing Corporation when they're like, "What are we going to do with a giant baby chicken?" It's like, "Listen, man, I don't know. we'll find a way to sell it, but like, can you at least give me half of the contract, right? Because like that's also the battle too. That's why that's why Mr. Green gets upset that after a
Okay,
while that like we
I
keep
have
doing
it.
these bad jobs and we can't even complete them all the way. Like it's like I got to do something to feed the family, right? So like I think it's a good twist on an episode that you want to end in a way that like doesn't matter. So I don't know.
Starting a
What
chicken
if
farm.
Mr. Green swapped the dragon egg with a chicken egg?
Yeah, but
And so
someone
the
like
reason,
painted it
the,
gold.
and then like the reason we have to come back is because like how about this? We love the captain being wrong. Maybe Cheyenne talks the captain off the ledge, and it's like fine. I'm not gonna do this crazy idea of finding a dragon and giving it this egg to take care of. Unbeknownst to him and Cheyenne, Mr. Green swapped out the eggs, and then that gives him a little dragon buddy and gives them a reason to have to go back because they did fuck the planet up. They swapped Mr. Green swapped the egg out when he was with them. Like, like
Okay,
they're
I
not
like
like
that. That's a good twist, and that's how I end up with the
it gives us
Dragon
the
Buddy.
chicken. It gives us the it gives us like an ending to it that makes them not have the dragon egg, which I think part of I think when they go back there, like she can't still be the dragon queen or whatever when they come back, right? That
Uh-huh.
part of it at least has, I think, because if you want to have the dynamic of the world, like you know what I mean, you want to come back and they want to be in like a different state of like Tolkienism or whatever, a different age of fucking
But I,
fantasy or
I
whatever.
think it would
Mhm.
work out well with Mr. Green because the whole time Mr. Green's like not fighting you and going along with your plan, and that's only because secretly he's like
He's
trying to find an
sandbagging the
opening to
whole
switch the eggs.
goddamn time.
Right? He's just like
Yeah.
going. It's like, and Captain would say to him, "It's like you really don't have anything to say about this plan." No, I think it's a great plan. Well, keep leading.
Okay. At the beginning of the
Mm.
episode, right? Because Eric's always like catching up on stuff. At the beginning of the episode, Eric tells Mr. Green the thing about dragons and like in gold, and maybe he kind of confuses it a little bit with like a goose that lays a golden egg, and he thinks he gets a hold of a dragon egg, a dragon hatches, and then it's gonna poop gold in my apartment.
Uh-huh.
Like that.
So he just has it in
That's
his
what Big
house.
Mouths of Gold come. They just poop gold. That's anything, you know, like the goose and the Jack and the Beanstalk.
I like it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. All
And
right.
that's the
Well, I
ending.
tell you what. I mean, that's definitely not the ending, but I like it as like a way to go and like um we can. I think this is a good place to stop because I have one more thing to say about episode 3 that ties in with the two things we've talked about in the other episodes to think about for next week
Uh-huh.
as
Uh-huh.
a concept of the show, right?
Mhm. We love a
Homework.
concept.
It's I've talked about it a little bit, right? Brenner 7 is like a cowboy themed planet. Dracronaria is uh, a fantasy themed planet, and Earth 1999 is like a time travel themed planet. But like they're all like planets for like different reasons, and like I'd like to have like I'd like to have a good like weird corporate reason for all of these planets to like exist, right? Like the world building reason, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So like I'd like to come up with a reason for like the Nothing Corporation to have designed a planet to be like Earth in 1999 or a way that a planet develops that it's like, you know what I mean? Like I think that's like a an interesting thing to think about and helps kind of like flesh
I
out the world
I
as we're
have
going to be like,
a
who are these guys talking to, you know?
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want to open up a can of worms, but it immediately comes to my mind that when we initially pitched the economy of nothing, it was like after before the Nothing Corporation, how the economy of nothing started was a giant like EMP intergalactic blast that took out like all electronic systems and everything was like a salvage job and there were like it was a barter system that eventually got to credits, but essentially um, how what became valuable was not just credits, it was also the salvage. And we thought because all electronics were gone, the only thing that worked were like VCRs and like DVD players again. So
Mm-hmm.
finding like old pieces of media were real important. And I think that in some way could be turned into an aspect of why planets like develop this culture over time, because there's no information to the outside world. So let's say that, a cowboy planet, like the only thing that really survived was a bunch of like old cowboy western movies and stuff like that, and that just evolved and into the culture, even to like the robots and stuff, because that's all the media they had to entertain themselves with.
Yeah, I think the space pirates originally, I guess they still could be. I guess we don't really know. I don't really have that last little bit, but like originally they were like pirates. Like they were pirates,
Mm-hmm.
but they were also like media pirates, right? So like
Yes.
the thing they were doing in space was like pirating like like
It
TV
is.
shows,
Oh.
right? Like,
Oh.
so it's like it was like they were ferrying like burnt DVD copies of like bootleg movies around or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Or like space discs, right? Like or like they were going to like places and be like digging up these old discs and being like, well, the corporation left them here, so we're gonna like technically we're not supposed to have this print, but we found the work print of this one thing or whatever, and we're gonna
Yeah.
like
Like
move it around the
the
galaxy.
Nothing Corporation runs on credits and a barter system, but like the real, like the gold standard there, that is them controlling all the pieces of media in the universe.
Mm.
Well, they
That's their
control
long-term
everything.
goal. They're like the BlackRock
Yeah,
of media.
yeah, and I think yeah, yeah, no, that's all good. I had one other thing that was kind of like the same concept, but I can't remember what it is, so it doesn't matter. um, no, this was good stuff. So that's episode 2. Just if you
Oh,
start at 45:06, it times up perfectly. Um,
I was gonna wait. I was like, episode 2 of what? We've been talking for weeks. I see, of the show. The show.
episode 2 of the show
Yeah,
that we were talking
yeah.
about.
I
That's right.
checked.
Those edibles be hitting,
Not
homie. You know what I
me.
mean? But
I feel nothing.
But yeah, so I think next week this is kind of like it's rough or whatever, right? But I hopefully we'll get kind of like this is kind of form of like we need to like kind of move like the way we're doing moving through it, but also like being free to be like we can go back and this is fun and like that idea definitely is good enough to be an idea somewhere else and it's all good stuff and I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I'm
So thanks,
excited to
Joel.
see all the cool stuff you create off this one. I think there's a lot of scene things you could put together if you wanted to, but that just depends on how much you want to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, everyone, if you want to look at it, feel free to go check out, of course, economyofnothing.com. You can go to patreon.com/economyofnothing. And of course, Economy of Nothing on YouTube. But of course, as I said, check out the page linked under this thing, and it'll have a bunch of the stuff to look at that we talked about. It's like it's like a video piece to this companion. It's a picture piece to the wordy bit. Picture piece to the
Yes.
wordy bit, everybody. Have a
Yeah,
good
and
week.
and also, yes, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them. We would
economyofnothing@gmail.com.
gladly answer them.
Economyofnothing@gmail.com. Economyofnothing@gmail.com. Flip Bishon again, Megaball.
And our Patreon.
Why I shouted out the Patreon?
Mm-hmm.
Patreon.com/economyofnothing.
.co.uk.